Hi kiddos. Today we're going to review a little bit of computation practice because it seems like a few of us are having a hard time remembering all of our rules for solving problems with fractions and decimals that we learned last semester. So I took computation, this is computation quiz 3, and I'm going to solve beginning with number 5 through 10. 1 through 4 we seem to have done really well. Adding and subtracting whole numbers and adding and subtracting decimals, we are really rocking and rolling on those. So we're going to start on number 5. So on number 5, that's asking us to multiply decimals. So a couple of things to remember. When I set this up, I'm going to multiply 25 and 7/10 times 7 and 7/10. And when I do that, I don't necessarily need to line up my decimals. In fact, we remembered to push them back, way back. To help us remember, we don't line up the decimals. However, on a question like this one, they do line up because these decimals are both written to the 10th place, and that's okay. Once I set it up like this and push these numbers all the way back, then I'm going to multiply. So 7 times 7 is 49, carry the 4. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 3 is 17. Now, I'm not going to do anything with this decimal until I'm done. So I'm going to pretend like that decimal's not there. I'm going to put a 0 right here because now I'm not multiplying by the 10th place, I'm multiplying by the 1's place. So I need to accommodate for that by adding a 0. 7 times 7 is 49. 35 plus 4 is 39. 14 plus 3 is 17. And then I'm going to add. It's really important to keep everything lined up really nice and neat here so that I don't have any confusion as to what to add. And then I'm going to move my decimal. So there's 2 places behind the decimal in the factors. So then I'm going to take this decimal, start on the right, and scoop 2 places left. And my final answer is 197 and 89 hundredths. And then I can check for reasonableness. I know 8 groups of 25 is 200. So if 8 groups of 25 is 200, then it makes sense for 25 and 7/10 times 7 and 7/10 to be 197 and 89 hundredths. Okay, number 6 is division. This one is dividing a decimal by a decimal. So I need to remember that my first number is my dividend, and this number is my divisor. Oh, I put my decimal in the wrong spot, didn't I? Alright, so I have 8 and 85 hundredths divided by 6/10. So if I have a decimal in that divisor, I've got to swoop it over enough places so that my divisor becomes a whole number. And in class, we learned the little saying, swoop, there it is. And then I have to swoop, there it is, over here too. So if I swoop, there it is, if there's 2 decimals here, 2 places behind the decimal, I have to swoop, swoop, there it is. Okay, so then I'm going to move it up to its new spot. 6 goes into 8 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract, I get 2. Bring down the 8. 6 goes into 28 4 times. 6 times 4 is 24. Subtract, we get 4. Bring this 5 down. 6 goes into 45 7 times. 7 times 6 is 42. Now I'm not finished. So if I run out of places to bring down, I'm going to add a 0 because I haven't changed, because of this 0 and this decimal, I haven't changed the value of my dividend by adding that 0, but it gives me something to bring down. So 6 goes into 30 5 times. 5 times 6 is 30, and now I'm done. So my answer here is 14 and 75 hundredths. Remember, if you have a decimal in the divisor, you've got to swoop, swoop, there it is. If there's 2 places behind the decimal, it's swoop, swoop, there it is. If I move my decimal here, I'm multiplying by 10. So that means I have to also multiply by 10 in my dividend so that my quotient would be the same. Okay, number 7. I'm going to add fractions here, and most of us are doing an awesome job adding fractions, so I'm going to scoot on to number 8. Number 8 is asking us to subtract fractions, and the same rule applies with adding and subtracting fractions. I must find that common denominator. So we're going to practice doing that with number 8. The common denominator here is the least common multiple of 3 and 9. So the least common multiple of 3 and 9 is 9. So I'm going to set this up 5. 3 times 3 is 9, so 1 times 3 is 3, and 3 ninths minus 2 and 5 ninths. And I want to subtract the fractions first when I subtract mixed numbers. So I can't subtract 5/9 from 3/9, so I have to take one of these wholes and chop it up into 9 pieces. So now I have 4 wholes, and those 9 pieces I'm going to add on to the 3 pieces I already have. Now I have 12/9, because 4 and 12/9 is the same value as 5 and 3/9, but now I'm able to subtract 5/9 from 12/9. So 12/9 minus 5/9 is 7/9, and 4 minus 2 is 2. And this would be my final answer because 2 and 7/9 is in simplest form. Okay, number 9 and 10 are where we're struggling the most and consistently. So the first thing I want to remember when I multiply mixed numbers is that I've got to change them to improper fractions. So I'm going to do that by 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So this is 8/5 times 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15, times 15/4. And this is when I can try to simplify first. So I can see that 8 and 4 both share a common factor of 4. So I'm going to divide them both by 4. And then 15 and 5 share a common factor of 5. I'm going to divide them both by their common factor. Then I can multiply my new numbers straight across. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 1 is 1. 6/1 simplifies to 6, and that's my final answer. So when you're multiplying mixed numbers, change them to an improper fraction. See if you can simplify first along that diagonal or cross-reduce. Then, after you cross-reduce, or if you cannot cross-reduce, multiply straight across. Number 10, this one is dividing fractions. If I were to have mixed numbers here, just like I did here, I would have to change them to improper fractions before dividing. But since I don't have any mixed numbers, I can go ahead and divide as it is. So my rule for division is I'm going to keep the first number, which is my dividend, keep the dividend, change the symbol to multiplication, and flip my divisor. So we remember that by keep, change, flip. Keep the dividend, change the operation sign to multiplication, and flip the divisor. Now I'm ready to cross-reduce. So 4 and 12 are both divisible by 4. 5 and 3 don't have any common factors, so I'm going to leave them just like they are. Once I have keep, changed, flip, and cross-reduce, then I can multiply straight across. 5 times 1 is 5, and 3 times 3 is 9. 5/9 is in simplest form, so I'm done. All right, hopefully that will help you so that on computation quiz number 5, we're going to be rocking and rolling. Okay.